Do you think the current things that we're seeing in the news and reports about
that's been well documented too?
Do you think that those are aliens? Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mysterious Pals. My name is Chris, and I want to welcome you here tonight for a great old tale of whimsy. Not really a tale of whimsy at all, but speaking of whimsy, I want to welcome Jordan to the show. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be sitting next to you right here
Me as
at
well.
this table. How was your week?
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Do anything fun? Anything to tell the people at home about?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. Nothing exciting.
Yeah. It's
What about you?
being a grown up sucks. Yep.
You?
Nothing that I want to of note. You know?
Yeah, right.
I know people hate when we talk about it before the show starts, but tangents, yeah. So last week, you talked about your glasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
My head's too big for normal glasses.
Right. And so,
shack
yeah,
size.
pretty cool. Yeah. How do you like them?
Although they're great.
Yeah.
I have gotten them since last week.
That's pretty fast turnaround on those.
You may see me wear them at some point. Should I? Is it okay if I do wear them, or there'd be like a weird glare?
I just want you to see. I don't care. Wear them.
I can see now.
safe.
I wear contacts.
Yeah.
I'd be able to wear glasses more often.
I was bringing this up because I want to talk about contacts. You made me start thinking about contacts last week after the episode.
You wear
I do. I don't know wearing them right now because.
Can you see anything? What's your vision like?
I can see stuff close. I can't see stuff far away. Everything's garbage. Like, here's my story of having glasses and contacts. Got them when I was in elementary school.
Elementary school?
Well, I got glasses in elementary school, probably 4th, 5th grade.
Okay.
And I was like,
middle school.
And I was like, I hate these things. They're so stupid. I'm never going to wear them. So I never wore them.
I remember when you got contacts though.
Yeah, it was hell.
Yeah.
I always wore, forever. I was like, I hate glasses. I'm not wearing them. I was supposed to wear them when I drive. Mm-hmm. Never did. I could see, close. I just can't see stuff far away. I can see it's a red light, but it's all blurry red light.
So you're nearsighted. Correct.
Yes, that's what it is. Not farsighted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little lingo there for you.
Yeah, a little dingy lingo. So what I hated them. So I never want to wear them. Call it self-consciousness, call it whatever the hell you want. I don't give a crap. Anyway, never wore them. And up until I think grad school, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, said, "Why?"
Which girlfriend?
My girlfriend, who's now my wife.
Oh, no, your wife.
Yes, she said, "You should probably get glasses, or you should probably wear glasses when you're driving." I was like, "I don't really want to. I hate it." She's like, "Well, just get contacts." I'm like, "What is this, magic contacts you say?" I'm like, "I don't want contacts. Seems like a pain in the butt because you have to go to multiple things." She's like, "Just get contacts. It's so much easier." Yep. I put contacts in for the first time.
Dude, I was so mad the first time I tried to do it. I remember throwing my contact case.
Oh, to put them in?
Yeah, because I just could not.
That's why I never wanted them, because I was afraid of sticking stuff in my eye.
I remember when you got them.
Yeah, but when first time I put them in in the doctor's office or the eye doctor office, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a whole new world out here. It was like the Aladdin song was playing in my head. Yeah. And fast forward to now, still have contacts. Okay, but I mean, I went through school. Everyone's wondered why I got bad grades in school. I think it's because I never wore my glasses, couldn't see anything.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, I am a doctor now, so what the hell is the difference? Anyway, get contacts. I only put them in when I have to go to work. If I don't have to go to work that day, if it's a weekend, if it's in summer, because I'm a teacher, I don't put them in.
Are you going to wear your glasses?
No.
I don't know if this is true, but I remember hearing if the more you wear your glasses or contacts, your eyes will get worse.
That's why I never, so I don't know if that's true.
Is that a real thing?
I know that's true, because I always told myself, I'm not going to give into this crap.
I'm not giving the big contacts.
Yeah. Anyway, I was like, I'm not gonna, because my eyes are gonna get worse. So I'm gonna make them stronger by just making them struggle.
Yeah,
it's not good for you.
Are you constantly just squinting? It's like,
yeah. Everybody was like, why are you squinting? Because then whenever we have like in service days at school, I don't put my contacts in because I forget. It's not that I don't want to, I just forget. Yeah, it's just not part of my routine.
Your sight must be like decent enough that you can like get by without the aid.
Yeah. I can't read anything.
Oh my God. Yeah, but I can't read anything.
I couldn't read a stop sign. I can't read a stop sign. I know it's a stop sign. I know the shape of a stop sign is.
Yeah.
But like when I put a contact,
I didn't know the sign said one way. Sorry, officer. It's usually like drive.
Well, I get in trouble for having contacts, not having my contacts in. But anyway, I can still see. Like I did fine. I drove all through high school and through college without contacts, and it's fine.
Unlike the dentist, I used to like going to the optometrist's office because like the test they had you do, I thought were really cool. Back when we were growing up, because there'd be like those like you'd find the number and like the weird colored dot things.
See if you're colorblind.
Yeah, but I always thought that was cool.
Okay.
And there's this one thing that like you look in. I can't remember exactly what it was like, but like it was like a car.
And they blew in your eye. I hate when they do that.
The eye thing, I can't stand that. Yeah. But there's like, I don't know. I was like, these are fun games. This is fun for me.
I say when they put those things in your eyes and you can't see, it's like you go outside and you're like, oh my God. Like can't see anything because all your eyes are all big.
Oh, they,
dilate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pupils.
It's horrible. Anyway, what I was trying to say was I get contacts. It's great. But if it's not a work day, if it's on a standard day, like my schedule, like my standard routine, I forget to put them in.
Interesting.
So I'm sitting in like in service thing where I'm trying to look in like at a speaker or something. I'm like struggling to see because I have no. And everybody's like, "Dude, where are your contact? What are you dumb?" People make fun of me all the time for it.
Next time we do this, I'm gonna wear my glasses, my new glasses that I already have.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wear those. They have my contacts in right now, but I want to try your glasses on. I might without breaking them because my head's big. I want to see what your vision's like because I put Kelly, my partner's glasses on, and like it's insane.
How bad it is?
Yeah, how bad it is. Yeah.
I do sometimes.
I'm especially not like legally blind.
Sometimes I forget to take my contacts out and like I put my glasses on at night, like when I watch TV or doing something.
Like,
and I'm
I've
like,
gone blind.
What is going on? And like I'm like, something's wrong with the lights in this room or something. I was like, and then like an hour goes by and I'm like, oh, my contacts are still in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just really bad at stuff.
I have this memory. I don't know if it's a dream or not, but I have this memory. I was very young, watching TV, and thinking I was going blind because I think all it was, I just had that gunk in my eye that's going over my eye, and I was like, you know, like whatever. What's that gunk that you wake up
pink
with?
Eye? Eye boogers?
Yeah, the eye boogers. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there an actual term for that?
I don't know.
But this actually might have been a dream. But like I remember like watching TV, and all of a sudden I couldn't see because of like the eye boogers or whatever. I think it's probably
pink eye.
No. I mean, maybe. But
yeah.
No, it was a big eye. I think it was a dream.
Okay.
Let's cut that up.
Nope, not doing that. Right, anyway, cool. We're going to move on to something more interesting now than eyewear.
the eyeglass pals.
Eyeglass? Yeah, we just talk about
glassware and contacts.
Yeah, we have a friend who is very into vintage eyewear. He's a priest, so he's nothing else to do. Yeah. He's like really
important to do.
Yeah. Like he literally is like nothing else to worry about in life except for our souls, I guess. Anyway. He
has a lot of cool artifacts.
That's what I mean. That's why like he's so into like old school eyewear and stuff. I mean, he collects a lot of weird, crazy stuff.
He has a lot of time.
He's got a lot of time and he doesn't have any bills.
Yeah.
I mean, he does important work. He does work. I don't think he listens to this, so we're okay.
It's tax exempt.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to jump to an incident. And I think this might be one of our first alien incidents.
Like actual, no, we did the airship thing. Wait.
You're right. Something that wasn't attributed to that, okay. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, this is our first like big time, like, you know, this is known as one of, they say, most well-documented UFO cases in history. Although I'm like, what about Roswell? So I think it's even more documented because there's more stuff there's more stuff about this than there is Roswell.
Really?
Yeah. I think more documentation, I should say.
Okay.
There's more documentation about this. witness testimonies and like different things that were going on. Like it's more well documented than Roswell, I think.
Was this in America? This happened?
No, it was in England.
Okay,
but it was an American base. So let's go. So, well, let me take you on a ride through the cosmos.
A spaceship ride, maybe,
to merry old England.
Jolly old.
Yes, on October 2nd, 1983, the British paper News of the World, which I understand to be a tabloid, was News of the World was a weekly national red top tabloid newspaper published every Sunday in the United Kingdom from 1843 to 2011.
Oh wow! Wait, it says red top.
Red top. It's because like the title was like red. I think like National Enquirer and stuff.
New York Post does that. I think
maybe.
Well, the New York paper.
It's a sensationalist journalism style, I guess, like to sell papers. You know, you see the red.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, 1943 though, that's crazy. 1843 it started. To 2011. The internet kills all.
They had a good run.
Yeah. Anyway, News of the World. Okay, so on the headline for News of the World for October 2nd, 1983, UFO lands in Suffolk. Suffolk. I
think it's
Suffolk.
Yeah,
Suffolk. Okay.
I think that's it.
Sorry, England. Sorry. So that's the headlines. 3 years later, in a competing newspaper, the then editor of News of the World and the one who created the headline said that he never thought it was an alien visitor. Rather, he said it was an American military spacecraft which had been on an illegal mission to outer space.
Sorry, what year is it? You said
1983.
83
was the original incident. The guy hold on. 1983 was whenever they that News of the World was posted.
Okay.
October 2nd, 1983. 3 years later, 1986, the editor from that article that was involved, that was the one who was like, put this on the front, this headline. Okay. He said it was not aliens he said it was referring to an American spacecraft.
Okay.
That was doing something in outer space. Anyway, we're going to go into more details about this incident, but
this is the Cold War. This
is the Rendlesham Forest incident. It is, again, one of the most well-documented UFO case in history. It has and still does inspires stories, books, documentaries, ongoing research. Like people want to know about this because it is one of those like big ones.
Yeah.
Like Roswell, Rendlesham Forest, like the big ones. Primary evidence of this case is the eyewitness testimonies, the Halt tape, and the Halt Memo. So we're going to go who Halt is.
Halt Memo.
Eyewitness testimonies too. So that's the primary resources from this case. The primary evidence, I should say, not resources, evidence. The UK Ministry of Defense initially dismissed the incident as having no national security implications. So you're thinking...
It's not a threat.
Right. You're thinking like this is a show about mysteries throughout history. Why are we talking about this thing that people are saying is not real? Because we don't know. There's no proven evidence either way. But I'm looking at this because I want to know why people thought it was real. Like why people thought this was a thing. And for so long, people still think, there's still people out there that believe this to be a real incident.
Okay.
Because it's like a military thing. There's like no one's saying things on either side.
Right.
Even the UK Ministry of Defense initially said it wasn't security related, but they're like, but even if it wasn't something from outer space or from America, we should still know about it.
Right.
So anyway,
I think things like this, like even if they did know it was like a foreign thing or an alien thing, would it be wise to say that? Because either they're admitting that like as a foreign country spacecraft was in here. If they said that would cause fear because like, well, why were they allowed to come here?
Yeah.
Or if it was aliens and they told people like the hysteria, I think from that would be.
You're admitting that that if it wasn't aliens, is that more alarming because a foreign adversary maybe was able to penetrate our airspace and something happened.
Yeah.
Without.
That makes them look weak.
Yeah. So I think that's what another thing goes into this. Like, why weren't they saying? They obviously didn't want to say it because they didn't want to look weak. Especially, this is the 80s, Cold Wars, raging.
Still going.
And based on what happened during the Blitz and everything. Like I'm pretty sure those people are still pretty. The people in England are probably still pretty jumpy about these type of things in their airspace. All right. Anyway, so Rendlesham Forest consists of 5.8 square miles of coniferous plantations interspersed with broadleaf belts, heathland, and wetland areas. So it's just part of England, the United Kingdom. It is located in the county of Suffolk, about 8 miles east of the town Ipswich. Okay, the incident occurred in the vicinity of two former military bases, the RAF Bentwaters, which is north of the forest, and the RAF Woodbridge.
It's the Royal Air Force, right?
Yes. Yep. So this is an American base next to, in a forest near these two RAF bases.
Okay.
Yeah. At the time, both were being used by the United States Air Force. Okay. The main events of the incident, including the supposed landing or landings, took place in the forest, which starts at the east end of the base runway, or about 0.3 miles to the east of the east gate of RAF Woodbridge, from where the security guards first noticed mysterious lights appearing and descended into the forest. So that's why I'm telling you, like, we're trying to paint a picture here. Maybe I'll put a picture up on the video, but we're kind of, the east gate is important because it's where the guys first noticed lights going down in the forest, which is 0.3 miles away from the runway, the base of the runway.
Okay.
Yeah. The forest extends about 1 mile beyond the east gate, ending in the farmer's field. So there's a farmer's field on one side, which is going to come up again.
There's always a farm with UFOs.
Yep. Well, the farmer doesn't really have a lot to do with this, but because it's England. If it was America, it'd be like all the farmers would be out there, the only people out there. But you know. Okay, we're gonna go through a timeline now. We're gonna say this is what happens. It's only like 20 hours this stuff's going down.
Okay.
Like kind of the then we go into the investigation portion. But December 26, 1980.
Boxing Day.
What's that?
It's a holiday, if I remember this right, in England. I don't know if it was just England, but it's the day after, obviously, Christmas. Is it where you like...
I thought it was a Canadian holiday.
It probably is too, because like, you know, Canada has big ties to England.
I thought it was French.
What?
I thought
I thought it was Italy. I thought it was Poland.
I thought Canada was like mostly French people.
No, just that one portion.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Quebec.
Boxing Day have been in some Commonwealth countries, particularly Australia, Canada, and New Zealand holiday, on which servants, tradespeople, and other poor traditionally presented with gifts.
Oh, I thought that like for some reason I thought it was like they reboxed gifts and gave them back to other people.
Well, because they're poor. That's what it's saying here.
Okay.
Quote. I'm not saying these people are poor. I'm just saying that's what they're saying here. Although it had in the 21st century has become a day associated with shopping and sporting events.
Okay.
Whatever, England. Here we go. Okay, so December 26, 1980. It was falsely, in a lot of research, for some reason, even the Halt, the main guy we're going to talk about, he said it was the 27th, but it really was the 26th.
Okay.
Because it was like 2 weeks after where he started giving his report, and he messed up a lot of dates, apparently. So, but a lot of the research says that the 26th is actually the day. So December 26th, 1980, early morning. So we're talking 3 a.m. So a security patrol near the east gate of the RAF Woodbridge observed strange lights descending into the Rendlesham Forest in England. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Their local time. 3 a.m. their local time.
Yeah.
Initially, they thought it had been a downed aircraft, prompting them to investigate further. So the servicemen entered the forest. They called it in. They entered the forest.
The carnivorous forest?
The carnivorous forest with the dinosaurs in there eating meat. They encountered a glowing object that was metallic in appearance and had colored lights. As they approached, the object seemed to move through the trees. Animals on a nearby farm reportedly went crazy and into a frenzy during this time.
Right.
So they could hear the animals going crazy. It's not too far away. They called the police. So at 4 a.m., the Suffolk police showed up.
Why are they calling the police?
I think because it's like,
people, right?
Well, yeah, but it happened on non-military land.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so they have to report it. So shortly after 4 a.m., the local police were called to the scene, but reported that only lights they could see were those from the Orford Ness Lighthouse, which is some miles away on the coast.
Okay.
So the Orford Ness Lighthouse. Okay. After daybreak, the servicemen returned to the site and discovered physical evidence at the site. They found impressions in the ground resembling a tripod marks, as well as broken branches and other disturbances. Lieutenant Colonel Halt, I keep referring to.
He's a lieutenant colonel.
Right. Ooh. He's like second in command at the base.
Yeah.
Led a second investigation during which he recorded an audio of the event.
Really?
Yes. This recording includes descriptions of the lights and strange behavior of the objects. So I might cut that in.
That'd be cool.
The parts of the
because I want to hear that.
Yeah. They actually have it. You can download it and listen to it.
Okay.
Like the original recordings.
What's it sound like?
It sounds like a cassette like you would listen to, like pretty broken.
What do you hear?
He just talks about what he's seeing.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a transcript of it too on if you look in our show notes, there is all the resources. There's one website that was like super awesome for this. It's called, I don't know if this is like the name of it, but
the website? Yeah,
it's called, it's ianridpath.com, but I don't know what that refers to.
Who's that guy?
I don't know if that's a name or if that's just the name, the way the name comes out. But there's like, he has this person, whoever made it, has like tons of information about this. And he has the original recordings too. So I'll put that in the show notes if you want to listen to the original recordings. You can download them. Okay, so going back. Lieutenant Colonel Halt led a second investigation, which he recorded audio of the event. The recording includes description of the lights and strange behavior of the object. Halt and his team measured elevator radiation levels at the landing site. Okay. That's going to come up again. It's going to be a point of contention. At 10:30 a.m. local time, 10:30 non-military time, so 10:30, which would still be 10:30 military time.
If it's
10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
The local police were called out again, this time to see the impressions which they thought could have been made by an animal. That's what the police said on their initial investigation.
Okay.
They said it probably was an animal.
They didn't say what kind of animal?
We'll go into that. Okay, so that was December 26th. So that was the next day, but like just the next morning.
Okay.
Because the original thing happened at 3
a.m.
Now we're at 10:30. Now we're going to jump to December 28th. So the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, as I mentioned, he was deputy base commander, visited the site with several servicemen in the early hours of December 28th, 1980. Did I say what date this happened? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said 1980. Yeah.
But it wasn't reported. It was in that newspaper not
until 3 years later.
83, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. That's why it confused me. So they weren't, the News of the World article was 1983. Okay, so December 28th, 1980. The deputy base commander, Halt, Charles Halt, visited the site with several servicemen on December 28th. He took radiation readings in the Triangle of Depressions and in the surrounding area using a standard U.S. military radiation survey meter. Although they recorded a 0.07 milliroentgens per hour.
What that is.
It's it's like a scale for radiation. Milliroentgens. I can hear it in my head because I've heard people say before. And anyway, in other regions, they detected 0.03 to 0.04 per hour.
Is that a lot?
So 0.07 was what they were recording or checking. And this was just in the area. But in other areas around the same area, it was 0.03, 0.04.
Is that considered
a lot of difference? We'll talk about that a little bit. I don't know. I think it is considerably because it's almost half.
Yeah.
Or like double. Yeah, it's like double. It's over double.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Radiation. So I don't know how much we get normally.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that even the 0.7, if that's considered a lot.
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't know.
I feel like it wouldn't be, but I have no idea.
Radiation.
Like, what's a dangerous level? Like what would what?
So 6.2 millisieverts is the average annual radiation dose per person in the United States. 6.2 millisieverts.
What were they measuring?
That's a year. They were just measuring like at that point in time.
Yeah.
Here's doses in daily lives. Okay, here we go. It's good. This is good. Charts. I like this. Oh my gosh. So oh my God, can they just use the same standardization? What the heck? A chest x-ray typically gives a dose of about 0.01 millirem. Okay. Rem. 0.01 rem.
Huh?
Yeah. So a chest x-ray is 10 millirem. A full body CT gives a dose of 1 rem. Bananas have a natural radioactivity in them. Okay, drinking water has none. Oh.
Wait, go back because it said go back to the previous thing because it said quotation or in like parentheses
620 millirem.
Yeah.
What was I looking at?
You were saying
rem. Okay, so that's how much millirem we get in a year. This is saying 10 millirem from a chest x-ray.
Yep.
But
they were doing
so in a
0.7.
That's a micro or that's a different scale though.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what my problem is. So 620 millirem is the annual amount we get as humans is safe. 10 is for an x-ray is what you get millirem. So what's millirem to this millirentograms? How do you even say that? That's dumb. Oh man, there's a calculator for it. Holy poops. 1 millirentgen MR is equal to 0.86956 millirems. Oh my God. We are doing something that no people should do.
So could that just be something that's like that? Because it seems like a very low level of radiation that they're reading. Could that just be around like their base?
That's what I don't know. But this is in the 80s, 83. We're worried about nuclear stuff, you know?
Right, yeah.
Nuclear stuff. Anyway, okay, so they record 0.07 millirentgens. It's going to drive me crazy.
Rentgens? Would it be rentgens?
Okay, so we looked up how to say the word. It's millirentgens.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 0.07 millirentgens. Okay. Okay. All right. Furthermore, they detected that 0.07. Let's go back. 0.03 to 0.04 was the other surrounding areas. But in this area that they found is 0.07 millirentgen. Okay.
Ground zero.
Furthermore, they detected a similar small burst of radiation over a half-mile away from the landing site. I don't really know what that means. That's just something that was mentioned in a lot of the reports.
Okay.
It was during the investigation that a flashing red light was seen across the field to the east, almost in line with a farmhouse, as the witness had seen on the first night. Okay, so they were out there investigating. They saw a red light flashing.
Flare?
I don't know. The Orford Ness Lighthouse is visible further to the east in the same line of sight. So they were seeing a red light. I wouldn't think that a lighthouse would have a red light.
Right.
They saw a flashing red light. Okay. And this is like in the daytime too.
So wait, did the people at the farm see this red light?
I don't know.
They saw this red light at the farm, but also the same line of direction as the lighthouse?
It was going this, like they saw it past the farm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like in the same direction.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the direction
of
the
lighthouse.
lighthouse.
This thing was actually moving.
They say.
Okay.
It was flashing, not moving,
right.
Flashing. Okay, as I said, there's witnesses to this event. So there's 5 main participants, and we're going to talk to about each one of them. Several military personnel reported witnessing the lights and the straight object. Their accounts varied slightly, but overall they were consistent. There were 5 main participants in the Rendlesham Forest UFO sighting on December 26, 1980. Each one of them made written statements to Colonel Halt shortly after the event.
Good.
There was Sergeant Jim Pendenston, John Burroughs, Ed Cabansag. Those three went into the forest. There was a guy named Chandler who I didn't get his name, his full name. I will bring that up. And there was Chandler and Lieutenant Fred Skip Burren. They monitored radio communications at back of the base. So they didn't go with them into the forest. Good. So Pendenston, Burroughs, and Cabansag went into the forest. The statements from these individuals consistently describe pursuing an unknown light that was later identified as the lighthouse, possibly. There's no mention of encountering a landed craft, though, in the reports. However, the statements consistently describe pursuing an unknown light and that was later identified possibly as the lighthouse. That was kind of a later.
Why would they use a red light, though?
I don't know if the red light was just that night, that day.
Okay.
So they mentioned they saw a light. Okay, as I said, we're going to go into witness testimonies now. So I want to look at what was reported to the Ministry of Defense, UK Ministry of Defense, representing this incident. So they had to report to the UK because it was on non-military land.
Yep.
There was 5 individuals that were specifically participants in the Rendlesham Forest UFO sighting. They all made written statements to Colonel Halt shortly after the event. There was Sergeant Jim Pendenston, John Burroughs, and Ed Cabansag. They were the 3 that went into the forest after they saw the lights.
Okay.
There was Chandler, who I didn't catch his full name, so I should go back and look.
Could there be any more aliens? That's Chandler
Bing. Yeah. Lieutenant Fred Skip Burren. Those 2 monitored radio communications. The statements but given by these 5 guys consistently describe pursuing an unknown light that was later identified or could have been the lighthouse. Some people say that. From the testimonies of these guys, there was no mention of a craft, no mention of a loss of radio communications or missing time.
But I thought they saw like an object, like a shiny metallic object.
That's where the confusion comes from.
Okay.
Some of these guys say that they added that later.
Oh.
Like Pendenston and Burroughs went and like added it after the fact, apparently. Like after they'd already submitted it, they recanted it and then resubmitted it with that other information. So Colonel Halt based his memo to the Ministry of Defense on these statements and interviews with witnesses. The authenticity of the statements have been confirmed by Lieutenant Halt, Colonel Halt, and Lieutenant Fred Skip Barron, who helped gather the statements, denying any editing or sanitization to the statements. So they're the ones that submitted it. They said there was no editing.
Facts.
Yeah. So here's the witness statements from night 1. Only Pendenston claimed to see a mechanical object. Others reported seeing lights. Pendenston described an encounter where he couldn't get close to the object as it moved away wherever they approached. And I'm trying to think, you think about this, these guys going into the dark woods at night.
Yeah.
All they have is crappy flashlights.
Yeah.
They're probably not, flashlights in the 80s weren't very great, like we have now in some cases, maybe. The batteries probably last 20 seconds. But
they call them torches over there.
Yeah, but these are American guys on American base.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They weren't calling them torches. They were calling them flashlights.
Or if these are American guys?
Yeah. Because they're on an American base. It's an American military base at this point.
I thought we were talking about the rovers. Okay.
Yeah, this is American. They're using the bases.
Gotcha.
The American military is using the bases. So this is an American event. But they still have to report to the UK Ministry of Defense because they're on UK land.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And they're on UK bases in some cases. But they're still American military
British
guys.
Are just messing with them.
That's not too far off from one of the theories. Okay, so again,
it's where. Oh, sorry. It's also where they have 2 bases there.
They're not being used. And then
not being used.
Americans using as a third base that they're using those two bases as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Those RAF bases are not being used at the point. They're not abandoned, but they're not being used.
Okay.
They could be like, from the World War II and they just don't use them anymore. So going back, Penningston claimed that he was chasing this through the woods or chasing the light, trying to get to it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine going through dark woods at night. And we're talking about they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's not like they're near a city.
Yeah, the carnivorous forest.
Yeah, the dinosaurs are running around, the carnivores.
Yeah. Chasing after some unknown object.
But there's like the lights. We've been out, in the middle of the woods camping, and we look up at the sky and you think stars are moving, but it's not. They're not moving at all. It's just how we view things.
Right. But this also seems like the object's like, on Earth.
Correct. And it came down.
Right.
Which is what the crazy part is, because like they say, we'll get into this later, but they say something happens over what if it's a lighthouse?
Yeah, like
if it's a lighthouse, you would see it.
Yeah, right.
Every day. Yeah. Every night. But all of a sudden, one night something comes down.
Right. The lighthouse would also be like
which is part of the problem with this whole story, which is why I thought it was interesting. Because it'd be consistent spinning.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of like a rhythm to it.
Right. And they saw it come down. What would prompt them to go into the woods, seeing something coming down?
Yeah.
It's not like the lighthouse is going this way. Maybe in England it goes the other way and doesn't spin, I don't know. Penningston claims
I would hate to be one of the guys like, I'll go check it out.
3 guys go check it out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd say it'd be one of those guys.
It's their job.
Yeah.
You're a military guy. Colonel Ted Conrad debriefed Penningston, who confirmed that he didn't get close to the object. Penningston mentioned following the light through the trees in an open field when it disappeared. Okay. And we hear a lot about the objects nowadays from recent reports of disappearing, going into the ocean. And this is by the ocean,
right.
A couple miles away is the ocean.
The will-o'-the-wisp.
Oh yeah, crap! You're right.
That's what it is.
It kind of is.
The modern day.
I didn't even think about that. Well, I mean, a lot of stories of will and wisp from modern day.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, so Burroughs and Cabansag chased the light for about 2 miles. They said they weren't familiar with the area, contradicting claims of their familiarity with the lighthouse. But it's not like it's the first night out there.
Yeah.
Penningston claims of making real-time notes and sketches is disputed due to the inconsistencies of the notebook, date and time, testimonies of other witnesses. So there was a notebook we're going to get into too. Penningston's statements refer to a traditional landing site, but he later claimed a second landing site, contradicting earlier accounts. And the reason I'm bringing all this stuff is because there's so much stuff going back and forth between all these guys. 5 witnesses.
Yeah.
It's all being recorded and all reported.
Also being altered at times.
Maybe, because it's official records.
Right. But they also, like you said, they recanted a couple things.
And then added stuff in.
Yeah. I know this, I don't know, there's a term for like a witness to something.
Something bias?
Yeah.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah. Or like in time that you lose information, or like you might remember something that you previously forgot. So like constantly changing.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be happening with these guys.
So there's witnesses. Some of the witnesses claimed the object took off, but there's no mention of this in some official statements. Others saw the lights moving through the trees.
Yeah.
But they didn't see it take back off once it came down.
It upset the farm animals too.
Right. There was 2 other witnesses, or a couple other witnesses, obviously. Another guy made initial sightings but didn't provide a statement. He has never spoken publicly about the event, but then how would people know about it?
Yeah.
Know that he really knew about it. There was another guy person who called the British police reporting the seeing unusual lights, but then nothing in the woods. Most involved were unaware of the nearby lighthouse, apparently. Another guy.
Also, yeah, they might have, these people might have just said this after already hearing about it.
Correct. Like, oh yeah, that happened to me too. Yeah. There's a guy named Bernard Donahue, an official at the Bentwaters RAF base.
Okay.
Found the incident embarrassing and didn't believe in UFO hype. Okay. Colonel Ted Conrad, he was the guy in charge of the base. So he was above
the lieutenant.
Halt. Yeah. He confirmed there's no harsh interrogations or truth drugs were used on witnesses, contrary to some claims. Drugs? Right. Some people were claiming that they were like trying to pull this out of them, conspiracy theories type of stuff. Sergeant Jim Pennington claimed to have touched the craft and recorded binary code from its surface.
Whoa.
These are all part of the testimonies. Okay, so there's all contradictory things in the testimonies from real people, not on the base, on the base, the 5 official people we talked about. We're going to go into what's called Halt's Memo, though.
Okay. And he didn't actually see anything himself, right?
He went the next day and investigated it.
Right, okay.
He went there and like saw the triangular area.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so there's, as we said, there's a lot of confusion about the witness testimonies. There seems to be like a lot of different angles to it.
Variations too.
Yeah, and people, so there's a lot of confusion there. I don't know why it got so mangled up like that, but one of the main resources that they use for this, besides that report, so there's 3 of them. There's the Halt Memo, the witness testimonies, and then there is the Halt tape.
And that's that's the audio tape you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. So the Halt Memo, it's a report dated January 13th, 1981. So, because it's 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Under the title Unexplained Lights to the Ministry of Defense, known as the Halt Memo. Okay. It was dated 2 weeks after the incident. It was made publicly available in the United States under the U.S. Freedom of Information Act in 1983. It basically went into these events and expressed concern about the potential security implications. Here is what is said on the first page of the memo. Okay, so I'm going to read through this.
Just the first page.
Okay. Right. So I think it's only one page, actually. It's a first. No, I'm dumb. The F I wrote the 1-page memo. Yeah, 1-page memo. Here's what he says.
Surprisingly, it's only 1 page. After you think that'd be like longer.
It's a memo.
Memo, right? Yeah.
It's not the report, it's the memo.
Right, okay,
yeah. In the early hours of December 27th, 1980, around 3 a.m. local time, 2 USAF security police patrolmen observed unusual lights outside the back gate at RAF Woodbridge. They suspected a crashed or forced down aircraft and requested permission to investigate. 3 patrolmen were allowed to proceed on foot and encountered a metallic triangular object in the forest. Again, this is a memo he gave to the UK Defense Ministry. Yep. And obviously it was recorded with the US Air Force. But I digress. I'm not sure what that word means. So I'm not sure if I used it right. I digress.
Jazz cigarette.
Yeah. All right. He goes on. Maybe is what I should have said. The object was approximately 2 to 3 meters across the base and 2 meters high, emitting a white light.
I thought it was, what happened to the red one?
Great question. But I digress. It had a pulsing red light on the top and blue lights underneath. Okay. There's your red light, dog.
Don't
get a nice spoonful of patience.
Don't aircrafts use red, white, or is it red and green? Or is that both? So
they use marking lights. I'm not sure if there's a standardization. I imagine red is definitely standard. Yeah. Maybe it's red and blue. I'm not a pilot.
Oh, glory color.
Yeah. As they approached, the object maneuvered through the trees and disappeared, causing nearby farm animals to react. Okay. So they got close and moved away.
Through the trees.
Correct. And spooked the farm animals.
Did it say, I don't know, sorry if you already said this, did it say that it was like a straight pattern or was it like zigzagging? Did it mention any of that?
Maneuvered,
okay.
So obviously that means not straight. It was maneuvering.
Okay.
Through the trees. Quote. He goes on.
Getting away from all those carnivorous plants.
He goes on. The following day, 3 depressions were found where the object had been sighted, with radiation readings recorded in the area, including peak readings in the depressions and near the center of the triangular formed by them. Moderate radiation readings were also found on the side of the nearby tree facing the depressions.
Moderate, okay.
Yep.
I was curious to see what
he says.
Actually dangerous levels or anything like that. Okay.
Later that night, witnesses observed a red sun-like light through the trees, which pulsed and emitted glowing particles before breaking into 5 separate white objects and disappearing.
That's new.
Yep. This is directly from the mouth of babes.
But I digress.
But I don't know what that means either. 3 star-like objects were then noticed in the sky displaying red, green, and blue lights.
Are these things fireworks? Is this someone just shooting off fireworks?
Boxing Day fireworks at 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
They moved rapidly and displayed elliptical shapes through magnification before turning into full circles.
Yeah.
These objects remained in the sky for an extended period, with one object beaming down a stream of light intermittently.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple individuals witnessed these events.
Good.
Okay.
A little vague. All right.
Yes. Now, there is also the Halt tape, which you can go listen to, and I might intersperse a couple little bitties in there, I don't know. But let's go to the Halt Affidavit. So the Halt Affidavit was a 2010 thing, affidavit that was signed by Colonel Charles Halt, where he again summarized what happened and then stated to believe the events to be extraterrestrial and have been covered up by the UK and US.
All right. So he changed his colors.
Well,
I don't know if I used that right.
I don't know. He didn't. I mean, he kind of just said this is extraterrestrial and it's being covered up. But he probably wasn't able to at the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. In the report, he didn't say extraterrestrial.
He probably wasn't. He's probably get fired. Yeah.
What were they even doing on this base, you think?
See, I mean, what was the U.S. doing there?
Yeah.
I mean, bases everywhere.
I know, but what do you think their daily lives are like?
I had a friend who I had students who went into the Air Force. Said it was the most boring job in the world a lot of times, but it was super fun a lot of time. Like some of the time, it was super fun, interesting, engaging. But then most of the time, depending where you're
sitting around,
you just sat around. I mean, because you're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're waiting just in case. I mean, you're doing maintenance, like
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're flying planes. I mean, these guys weren't. Doesn't sound like they were any more than just like patrolmen. They weren't really pilots or anything. So they were probably waiting for.
I bet they're just really bored.
They're probably just waiting for like someone. Okay, go nuke Moscow. Yeah, like something like that.
I don't know. They're just like really bored, and then like they just saw something simple and they just like kind of blew it out of proportion. Like, what we're here for a reason. I would think
that if it was one guy saying this, it's 5 people giving different, almost the same witness testimonies, but sometimes a little different.
Yeah, I would say like mob mentality, or like they all start saying the same thing, but.
They're not saying exactly the same thing because some of them have different stories. That's true, a little different.
They change too.
Yeah. However, in 2010, in response to the affidavit from Halt, Base Commander Colonel Ted Conrad provided a statement and said, "We saw nothing that resembled Lieutenant Colonel Halt's descriptions in the sky or on the ground. We had people in position to validate Halt's narrative, but none of them could."
I think they were all just on drugs.
And what else are you going to do?
Bored.
Yeah.
The 80s, yeah.
Miami Vice is on the tube. You're like, yeah. All right. So that's the story.
Okay.
Short amount of time. A lot of witnesses. I mean, 5 witnesses, but testimonies, official testimonies, multiple governments involved. Yep. Sounds like pretty cut and dry case.
I mean,
not really. That's the complete opposite of it. Yeah. I just like to say words today. Sayings that I heard on movies.
Throwing a lot of sayings out there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into theories. These are the theories that are have been posed for this incident. What was going on? Because obviously there's 5 people. They saw something.
Yes.
And like you said, what the hell with this lighthouse? It couldn't have been a lighthouse,
right?
Because the lighthouse would have been there every day.
Yeah.
So what do you think was going on? Before I read the theories.
I don't know, because like the stories changed, but I do think it's fascinating. Was it during the affidavit? He says like the light split.
That was the original memo.
Okay, and then came back. He thinks it's extraterrestrial.
That was in the affidavit.
Okay, but I'm saying the story keeps changing.
Well, he said the memo said what he saw.
Right, but
the affidavit is like he said it was extraterrestrial.
Yes, the memo is more what he saw affidavit, he's putting his thought where
right
it was into
because
it.
he probably wasn't able to back then.
Yeah.
So what do you think it was?
Definitely not the lighthouse.
Do you digress?
But I digress. No, I think, I don't know, man. I do think it'd be funny if it was just like the Royal Air Force were just messing with them.
Are these Yanks?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Messing with the
They
Yankees.
gave him some bad tea, spiked tea, and then
Shot
yeah,
flares up in the air.
yeah, it's retribution for
Revolutionary War.
Boston Tea
Yeah.
Party. Yeah, I think it'd be funny if there's like, because they're all bored, you know. Maybe some people in the Royal Air Force are just like, yeah, we're bored too. Let's mess with these guys. I don't know.
Well, it's one of our theories. Let's go into this. So we're going to go with my personal favorites here.
So are you going to do the craziest to
You want me to?
most likely, or no? What do you want to do?
I will tell you.
Most likely craziest, or you just gotta however you know.
Let's go into craziest, what I think is the most crazy, to what is probably not that crazy.
Ghosts.
There's no ghosts. Okay, let's go. Here's my first one. I was going to go with aliens, my first one, but here's actually my first one. Time travel or interdimensional travel. Some theories propose that the lights were not extraterrestrial, but rather related to time travel or interdimensional travel. These ideas are less mainstream and lack evidence, but still a theory.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe like there's the one sole object that disperses, comes back together. Is that
It's like people teleporting
going through in and out?
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Again, craziest to me, most likely. Extraterrestrial in nature. The theory suggests that the lights observed in the Rendlesham Forest were extraterrestrial origin. Proponents argue that the glowing object witnessed by military personnel was an alien spacecraft. According to this view, the craft may have landed or hovered in the forest, and its occupants, extraterrestrial beings, interacted with the environment or observed Earth. This theory is popular among UFO enthusiasts who believe that the incident represents evidence of contact with intelligent life, although there was no evidence of them actually contacting them.
Right.
But
or attempt to.
A direct contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't like that airship thing kind of like that too? The two of them we've done.
There's a guy who said go up or something.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit the steeple of the church.
Yeah, there's like the anchor part, but then the other one too, like there's aliens who were like,
you're talking about the Clan McNoise.
There's a Clan McNoise one, and that's the one that they dealt with the it's all over water, or like that was one that was like an island, right? There's that guy who's like most of the stories would drown or like try to get out of the water.
That was Clan McNoise. That was Ireland. Yeah.
Okay. And the other one was like the airship went over the United States. Was that group who the aliens came off and like were like it seemed like they were lost. Like,
yeah.
Hey, we're just lost.
Yeah, that was it. Yes. It could have been kind of, I mean, it seems like all, as we see like through history, all the alien stuff kind of was a little bit the same.
Right. It could have just been like someone testing something too. Like just with airships.
Well, yeah, maybe. Going back, the idea is that the UFO came down and were investigating humans or were trying to. Maybe they were crashed or they had engine trouble. But the fact that they like took off so quickly means they probably were checking something out, but I don't know what they'd be checking out there.
They left, right?
Yeah.
In one of these.
Maybe.
Okay.
The next most crazy to most likely is military experiments or secret aircraft. Now, that the reason they're like, well, that's probably what it was. These other ones are kind of, yeah, it could have been that. It's more likely it was that. So some skeptics propose that the lights were part of military experiment or secret aircraft. The proximity of the incident to the twin RAF bases led to speculation the lights were related to classified military projects. However, no evidence was emerged for this theory because why would
they admit that? That's what was happening.
Well, also
for not knowing.
Also, we never got any military aircraft that did that type of stuff.
It'd be experimental.
Right. But like,
why wouldn't you want to keep that?
What other
do something like that?
what other technology would have come out of that?
Yeah.
This is why this thing is less likely, because it's just like it came down.
Drones.
It came out of the forest and took off. Could have been a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come down.
Yeah.
Took off again. Yeah, that could be right.
Maneuver through the forest.
I mean, as the 80s, you think they were working with drone technology then?
I don't know if they get the microchip small enough to do that in these, or maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Battery life. I don't know.
Batteries were definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
The reason why drone technology had taken off is because of cell phone technology.
Yeah. Right.
Batteries became super, like, really important to cell phones, so they made better batteries.
They had like 50. The thing had like 50 C batteries.
Yeah, that's why it came down.
That's
it was too heavy.
Like, charge it.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. And here's where it gets a little harder to determine what I think is the most unlikely to most likely.
Okay.
So we could say that psychological or perceptual factors could play a role in this. So like some researchers have said that psychological and perceptual factors such as stress, fatigue, heightened emotions could have an influence on witness perceptions. Maybe they're like bored.
Yeah. Right.
They're like, oh man, look at that, that's crazy. And they're on a base. It's a Cold War.
They're also like they're in like a foreign base. I know it's not America, but you're in England, but it's still foreign. It's not your home.
Right.
They could be, like we said, bored and just like maybe tense too, because this is a Cold War.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the 80s.
Super tense.
80s Cold War. So what some people have said that the mind has a tendency to fill gaps and incomplete information might have contributed to the UFO narrative.
Okay.
And if the guys ran out of the forest, it was dark, like I said before.
Yeah.
A bright light was out there.
Yep.
Which wherever the bright light came from, but they had to have seen a bright light.
That's the thing though. Like, so what would that bright light have been? Well, again, the lighthouse doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with you. The lighthouse makes no sense because it's a bright light.
Yeah.
It would have been there before.
Yes. They would have noticed that.
Now, some people would say, what about maybe it was like, different weather patterns?
There's a red light though, right? Like,
well, it had multiple colored lights, but like weather patterns. Well, they reported blue, red, white.
Well, like why would a light, if it was a lighthouse, why would a lighthouse have this?
I don't think they said it was a red light. They said at that point when they went back, there was a red light. Okay. The next day or the 28th. But like I said, they would have seen it every day. They were there. Why all of a sudden, like they didn't see it the first night? Yeah. And they could say the weather, maybe it was a weather pattern thing, but they were probably there long enough that at least one of them would have seen like, oh yeah, during when it rains, the lighthouse gets really bright because of weather conditions.
Do we know how long they were there for before this happened? I imagine it would have been a significant amount of time. Like there would be nothing new to
like
see.
Their history, like what does their careers look like? I didn't research into that.
Or just as far as this, like them being there. Either way, they'd be like, oh, it's a lighthouse. Like any normal person, but that's a lighthouse.
Well, unless you're from America.
I mean,
you've
known of what a lighthouse is.
You're from Arkansas. You're not going to really have seen one. I mean, you know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, yeah. You think someone on that base would have been smart enough to be like,
it's a lighthouse. We see it every night. Yeah. Okay, so then let's go into. Okay.
What was that?
This is where it gets a little weird. So, I guess you could have put hoax or prank before or after the last one, psychological thing. I'm gonna just say that it goes right here.
They would have fit with psychological stuff though.
Yeah,
you're pranking them.
Some people suggest that the entire incident was a hoax or an elaborate prank. Some critics argue that the military personnel involved may have been fabricated or exaggerated their accounts for various reasons, including reasons to mess with the militaries of the different countries. Maybe they were trying to be like, oh, we're in the UK and you're letting spaceships land here and that type of thing.
Okay. It seems weird they would do it to the United Kingdom. They're like allies.
But maybe they did see something they were trying to mess with. Like, we don't let this happen in America type of thing. Yeah. There's some research, or there's a story that I got from that ianridpath.com where they say that the summer of 2003, a former USAF military policeman at Woodbridge, Kevin Condy, claimed on a television and in the press that the UFO incident in Rendlesham Forest was sparked by a practical joke he staged in his police car to frighten the guard at the East Gates.
So wait, is this guy American who did this? Or is this guy British who did the prank?
He was a USAF military policeman. So
I mean, maybe that's just military being like, let's not people think we actually believe in extraterrestrial stuff. Let's say it was a prank by one of our own guys.
So, but that makes sense if he's a policeman. He has a red, white, and blue lights, spotlights.
Yeah.
So he says, he said it wasn't a UFO. It was a 1979 Plymouth Voltaire.
Voltaire, it's your favorite guy.
Volar. The standard issue American police car.
Yep.
Volaire. He returned to the U.S. after the incident, never heard about the famous case until many years later, apparently.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Got him good.
So he said he drove along the runway, down the runway. That's why I meant like how it's laid out.
Okay.
With the lights flashing and with his spotlight messing with them.
That could explain the lights going and maneuvering through the trees too, maybe.
Yeah, that's because he was driving through the lights.
Vision.
And when they're trying to chase him, he was just driving around.
They hear
a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have his siren on, I imagine.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying like
a car. Why would you not hear a car? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a runway. It's not like, I don't know.
At 3 a.m, not much else is going on.
He provided one significant clue when he noted it was a good stunt. Someone else could have repeated it. In fact, most good cop practical jokes did get repeated. Yeah. He said, a lot of people say that it's not related. So also Condi went on in 2010 to kind of go after the John Burroughs and Jim Pendleton in a Facebook page where he went and was like, you guys are dumb. This didn't actually happen. I was just me. You're stupid. Like he was like, he's fighting this fight being like, but I wonder if like he was paid to do that.
Oh.
Like that he's put up like, you have to say that you did this because it was a special aircraft.
Oh yeah.
That type of thing. Here's another.
Also, like I think I tried to say this earlier, but like maybe like they're telling him to do this. Again, this is very conspiracy theory-ish. They're telling him to do this because like they don't want to look bad.
Right.
Thinking like, oh, there's extraterrestrials out there. Like
right.
Maybe they're like
they paid this guy.
Like, come on, man. Like we gotta clean this up.
Okay, so
under the rug.
Here's another revenge hoax, or here's another hoax.
Okay.
Story. This story, though, however, started circulating in 2018. 3 years earlier, researcher Dr. David Clark received a letter reporting to come from an anonymous SAS insider, SAS. Is that that's a secret service in Germany?
SAS?
SAS? Is that?
Yes.
Oh, SAS is Special Air Service, the British Army. Okay, so yeah, SAS is.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Jeez.
Okay. Sorry, everybody out there. It was called the SAS Revenge Hoax. SAS insider who, so David Clark, Dr. David Clark received a letter reporting to come from an anonymous SAS insider, who claimed the Rendlesham incident was a prank by the UK Special Forces in retaliation for having been caught and roughly treated during an exercise to test security at Bentwaters the previous summer. So the SAS was kind of, they were testing security. They got caught by the
testing the security of the
base. Yeah, it was like of the base.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to get him back. The course comes nowhere near the explaining what happened, though. This is what it says. Someone brought it up like after the fact, and Dr. Clark basically followed up with the journalists, or he followed up with military contacts and included that it was implausible. So,
why would it be implausible that they did that? You could just have a bunch of like lights out there, just like, hey.
I agree. That's why I brought it up, because he followed up with military people, but military people are not going to talk. That's the thing, especially special services.
Yeah,
they're never going to admit to things,
right?
Unless they do it in. I mean, for the most part,
like since they did want to get revenge, though, it was like a fun kind of prank. Wouldn't they want to tell people that if it's something silly?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so here is more of the story from Dr. David Clark that he got in 2018 was that the claim that the incident was a setup by SAS as a revenge plot on the USAF. According to the story, this in August of 1980, the SAS parachuted into the RAF Woodbridge to test security at the nuclear site. I guess there was a nuclear site there.
Oh, geez. All right.
The USAF had recently upgraded the radar and detected the black parachutes of the SAS military as they descended into the base. The SAS troops were interrogated and beaten up with the ultimate insult that they were called unidentified aliens. To enact their revenge, the SAS gave the USAF their own version of the alien event.
Oh, wow.
By going back and doing that to them.
So, yeah, okay. So, for some reason, when you said they were doing a training thing, I thought it would meant that, like, United States Air Force knew the SAS was trying to get in, and they're like, you guys couldn't get in.
Yeah.
And there was like a retaliation, like a fun retaliation, but they're saying they didn't know and they got beat up.
I guess. I guess they were trying. I don't think with tests. I mean, when you have security like that, you're probably not informing them that you're going to be. It's like being a server when they have like secret shoppers. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you're like, you have no idea.
But what if the United States Air Force started shooting these
them?
people?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, eventually, however, Dr. Clark said that it was a hoax based on his research.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm just reporting on how it is. Okay, we talked about that one. Let's say the natural phenomenon and misidentification theory.
Okay.
Skeptics argue that lights seen at the Rendlesham Forest were misidentifications of natural phenomena. We talked about this in the Klamath noise one as well. This kind of misidentification of things.
Yes.
Like specifically in Klamath noise, that the people were seeing clouds that look like boats.
Yep.
So the Orford Ness Lighthouse, located several miles away, emits a series of bright flashes. It is possible the flashes were mistaken for a UFO, but again, we talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I digress. Additionally, meteors, stars, and atmospheric conditions can create unusual light patterns leading to the misperceptions.
Yeah.
This theory goes in to say that there was possibly a combination of things. We had a shooting star come right over the base in that location, lining up in some way with the lighthouse. They saw this bright light come down.
Yeah. Sure.
The lighthouse was flashing. They saw it in the direction of the lighthouse, so therefore they thought that the lighthouse was part of it. And that's what led them to think that it was.
Again, there's colored lights. Shooting star, you don't really see.
I mean, it's red, depending.
Yeah.
Reddish. Okay, so here's a kind of, this is the most widely accepted thing. This is so if you ever haven't listened to Skeptoid, it's a great show about this guy, Brian Dunning. Really, it's a super old podcast, meaning he's been doing it for a long time. And his entire thing is like he's skeptic. Everything, he's skeptical about everything. And he kind of goes into a lot of things like the Rendlesham Forest, Roswell, and he talks like, here's the other side of it. That's not the story that's being told by people that want UFOs to exist or that think the government's trying to screw them. This is like here's the science side of it, and make your own decision, but this is what I think.
All right.
And so what he does, he talks about in episode 135, he talks about this incident. And it goes into this misidentification perception type of thing and how a combination of factors came together to create this event. This is a 2009 episode of this podcast.
He's been doing a long time then.
Oh, yeah. That was episode 135 in 2009. He looked at the eyewitness reports, the audio recordings, and the media reporting of the incident. After he concluded. So I think it's interesting. Again, a lot of what the UFO stuff we talked about.
Mm.
The media is like one of the three pillars of people who are mess with the story.
Yeah.
It's like eyewitness people, media, and then something else in the middle.
Okay.
All right. So this is his exact quote from Brian Dunning. Colonel Halt's thoroughness was commendable, but even he can be mistaken. Without exception, everything he reported on his audio tape and in his written memo had perfectly rational and unremarkable explanation. All that remains the tale that the men were debriefed and ordered never mentioned to the event. Were ordered never to mention the event and warned that bullets are cheap. Well, as we've seen on the television, the men all talk quite freely about it. And even Colonel Halt says that to this day, nobody has ever debriefed him. So this appears to be just another dramatic invention for television, perhaps from one of the men who had expanded his stories over the years. When you examine each piece of the evidence separately on its own merit, you avoid the trap of pattern matching and finding correlations where none exist. The meteors had nothing to do with the lighthouse or the rabbit diggings. We're going to go into this. I'll explain that in a minute. But when you hear all three stories told together, it's easy to conclude, as the airmen did, that the light overhead had become an alien spacecraft in the forest. Always remember, separate pieces of poor evidence don't aggregate together into a single piece of good evidence. So what he mentions there is rabbit diggings and a meteor. So there was a meteor, supposedly there was a meteor that came down or came again across that's a signification, whatever, comes across the sky. Then when they go there the next day, they find these holes in it. But this is an area where rabbits dig burrows like that.
Oh.
That's like known to be like, this is how rabbits dig things. These are American guys going to a place I don't really know, looking at these things, not knowing this is what rabbits do in this part of England.
So would the radiation be from a meteor?
So the radiation, which was brought up, some people say that 0.7 is not that big of a deal.
Okay.
It's not that.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's 0.7, 0.3, 0.4, 0.7. That's like total normal range for the environment.
Okay. Does this guy believe the meteor landed there, or they just saw the meteor, like the lighthouse happened to hit it in such a way? Lighthouse light hit it in such a way that like they made them think they were seeing something else. And they saw the rabbit holes.
The rabbit holes are different from. Okay, so the landing site they go to the next morning and take pictures and stuff. There are pictures of that. They just are rabbit holes. Supposedly, they're just like misidentified rabbit holes.
Right.
They were just in an area of the forest. The lights. They said the lights that are coming down to the forest are actually. They've said there's investigation that they were stars.
A meteor shower, maybe?
That they're bright stars, and that you know how the stars feel like they're moving, and since the stars move in a way, I guess is how they say it. It's around the horizon line that they go down.
Okay, but that's
yeah.
slowly though.
Right.
If it was like a meteor shower, you think they would have the intelligence to like given to them that's what's happening that night?
So I'm not really sure how you really can claim something came down, like that's why the story's confusing, because like there's a lot of research done about like, oh, it's these stars and the way they move, and that's why they were going down, because they were seeing it through the forest. But you said it moves so slow. There's also stories about the thing going across the sky.
They say that something came down, flew around, and went back up. A star wouldn't do that.
Well, it went back up after they got to it. That could have been. So that's I don't know what that would have been. That's a good question. It could have been the light spinning on the lighthouse from a certain angle. Yeah. They say it took off. They didn't say like it went back up. They said it maneuvered away. Right? I think is how they say it. And from what it says in a lot of the research was like the lighthouse was like up on a hill. So if they're down, like it's from where they were in the forest, it's up on some hills. Yeah. It's not like they're, like in direct altitude, right? And so that's why they thought that it like maybe the light looked like it was hitting and coming down that way. It's so confusing.
I think that someone was playing a prank. That's been highly contested.
Right. And I think it's a lot of combination of things going on.
Yeah.
Guys that are bored.
Yeah.
probably seeing something crazy in the sky, meaning like a shooting star.
Yeah.
Typical of nighttime sky stuff.
Also 3 a.m.
3
They
a.m.
could be tired.
It's dark and there's a lighthouse. Maybe there's some type of
maybe the lighthouse light's hitting off of something. So like you said, it says it is on a hill.
Right.
Higher than them. It could be hitting, reflecting.
As I was just going to say that. Refracting, like refraction from water in the sky and like in the air,
Sure.
like a cloud.
Yeah.
And shooting off like and being refracted that way. It's just so confusing on what they actually saw.
Or what the night sky was like. If it was like a clear night, foggy. Because again, like the light from a lighthouse could, if it's foggy, I think it definitely changed the way they were seeing the light if it was from the lighthouse itself. But again, there's like the multicolored light thing.
Also, the type of trees that are there, like they grow like. So I guess back in 98, 97, he went back and like looked at this stuff again, and he was like, the tree, Halt.
Okay.
But the trees are taller, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So things change. It's kind of hard to get back the exact stuff. Even if you take pictures today, it's not. Everything's gonna be changed. Okay. So that is my last theory. Was the natural phenomenon misidentification, that there was atmospheric conditions going on. There was the lighthouse, which would have been common, but a combination of like a shooting star, atmospheric conditions being specific.
That's good. That's another word that, like, I can see that being the thing, but it has to be like a perfect setup, chain of events for something like that, like happened based on what they saw.
That's why I like this story, because it's like it's so easy to say here are the specific facts,
right?
And this is what happened. Okay,
but something doesn't line up. Something, but then doesn't line up with any theories. Like
in some ways, it's like it's like a perfect theory, because it'd be perfect story.
Yeah,
like these 3 things, 4 things, 5 things lined up exactly at this point in time, at this date, this time, and that's what we saw.
Yeah,
and so happened that these rabbits made these holes.
Yeah, right.
There was stuff on the trees, like the trees were marked a certain way, and they say it was because of an. I mentioned that there was trees had been burned, looked like, or some marking on the trees.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned that. They said that it could have been from there's scorch marks and burning on the floor or of the trees, but it said it could have been some type of animal rubbing rubbing their antlers on it. It looks like burn marks.
Okay.
Or they could have been axe cuts from a farmer, or from the farmer, or from someone going to the forest getting branches.
Yeah. I feel like a burn mark you'd be able to differentiate between.
Well, they said one of the things said that it could have been a marking to show that it's going to be cut down in the future.
Okay.
Like they're marking it for taking down. But again, that was another skeptical thing. Like people don't know if that is true or not. Like that's just like there's so much like story. There's so much of the story is like it's a huge topic, but then you can also boil it down to like a couple simple things. Yeah. But then it still doesn't give you any answers no matter what you look at it.
It's weird that too that this happened in the 80s. Like this sounds like the way I don't know. It just sounds like something you hear like the 30s or 40s. Like this is the 1980s. Like I feel like this should be more easily resolved.
Yeah,
because it's the 1980s. Like
what
is the technology we had? Even back then.
Well, right now there's things flying around. People are saying. I'm sure that's
true too. Yeah.
In my view, it's probably military technology that they're not telling anybody about.
Yeah.
Drone technology.
Right.
That they don't want to say anything about. I mean, I don't know. It could be alien. I would love it to be aliens.
Yeah. I don't think
that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think, like we were saying earlier, possibly some kind of pre-drone thing.
I would say if my thought
someone was messing with them.
Yeah,
I think would be funny.
Do you think that's what it is? Then I'm gonna just go back.
Yeah, I think it's either like a military top secret thing, a drone type of a pre-drone, maybe like unmanned flying aircraft kind of thing, or just someone messing with them, which I think would be really cool, funny. Especially because this is like such a big, well-documented thing. Just like it'd be funny if it was just a prank.
I would think that it's Probably a combination of misidentifications, but if it really was aliens, I was thinking that if people were like, we saw aliens, here's the proof that there's aliens exist. Here are these tapes and this and this and this. I'm like, aliens are smart enough not to get caught. They've been doing it for, I mean, if they had the technology to get here, they have the technology not to be caught. I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's definitely possible for sure.
I would think. I would love for them to be. I'm not saying I'm open to hearing more stories about that because I would love for them to be true.
Yeah.
Love to be true. I would think there are aliens out there, but I don't know if they ever came here.
Yeah.
But
that's a big difference.
I'm open to the fact, and that's why I like reading these stories. I want to know what people, all these theories about this. I would love for it to be aliens. If someone said here's proof that it's aliens, this incident, but yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah.
But
you can also say something different, but like, okay, yeah, it's definitely not aliens.
Why do these 5 guys the only ones solve this?
Yeah.
And there's all these conflicting reports and blah, blah, blah. What did they see? That's the thing.
That's the thing too. Like what riled up the animals?
The guy driving his police car through the field.
A coyote?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or these soldiers running through the forest looking for colored lights.
Yeah, shouting at each other.
Yeah. With flashlights.
Probably shut off some guns.
Do you think the current things that we're seeing in the news and reports about
that's been well documented too?
Do you think that those are aliens?
No. I would like to think they are. But again, I think it might be some
military tech.
Some government because like this is what we're talking about. The one I'm talking about is like America. Like there's that video of the Air Force pilot following the thing. Those 2 pilots are like, this can't be of this world, or like it's nothing we've seen of this
the
world.
Technology.
Yeah. So does that mean some other superpowers figured something out, like figure this thing out, or could it be our own government? These pilots don't know anything about that.
Probably.
They're not gonna why would the government say it's true? So then you get started getting conspiracies and cover-ups, but like
I don't think Navy pilots or our Air Force or regular pilots are going to be told those things. It's going to be
information. Yeah.
Like 10 people that are working on this technology.
Yeah.
Whether it's an adversary or not.
Right.
And that goes back to the espionage from last episode, where there's probably a bunch of spies out there that know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. People trying to steal that information now.
Was it those stealth helicopters that went the Bin Laden raid? That was the first time they were like told about.
Oh, really?
Told us about.
Okay.
And then we have a friend who's in the military. I think he isn't anymore. He's retired now, or he does something else now. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's old stuff. That's like 20-year-old technology." Right. Whenever we're like, "Whoa, there's super specific secret helicopters that are stealth." Or like, he's like, well, "That's old technology." He's like, "You should see the stuff we have about now. It would blow your mind." I'm like, so
the general public doesn't know stuff like that.
No, we have no idea.
I remember hearing about the stealth bomber for the first time. I don't know when it came out, but I remember hearing about it as like a person was like, "That's a thing."
Yeah, like the 80s bomber? And 90s.
Like that's like what? That's a real thing. I was thinking it was like cloaked. I was
like invisible.
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
whoa.
No, it just means it can't be picked up on radar. But I was like, that's crazy. The future is now.
All right, Jordan.
But yeah, do you think it's just some? What do you think?
What do you think this was?
Yeah.
I think it was military. I think it was a okay. I think it was a combination of environmental events, or a combination of things, misrepresentations,
a perfect storm,
natural phenomenon, stuff like that coming together at a perfect time. But
it's a lot to happen, though. That's what makes it.
Yeah, but also, I've been outside at night when very dark areas, and it's like your brain plays tricks on you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
Then your brain's playing trick on 3, 4, 5 guys at the same time. 3 guys that saw it.
Yeah.
2 other guys were on the radio. The only 3 guys saw it, chased it.
Right.
But there was something what were they seeing in the woods? It could have been kids like drinking beer in the woods, like running away. Oh crap, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, they're having a party at the farm.
It could have been military personnel. It could have been military personnel out there drinking, like snuck out of their barracks. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, and if they would have been caught, that's why they ran, because if they would have been caught, they would have been, whatever, in trouble. I don't know. I think it was probably a combination of the lighthouse, maybe another plane. I don't know. That's why I like this story a lot, because I have no idea. Like usually I'm like, okay, it was just. I'm gonna say it's not aliens, but I don't know what else it would have been.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, but it reminds me of the airship episode, because like were people just seeing early concepts of the like military, what the military was working on?
Yeah.
Like this be the kind of the same line, or
what we found out in that episode, like was it
sensationalized
in media?
Yeah, which is definitely the case. Maybe, well, not definitely, but like that was a new world.
News of the world.
News of the world. Like they're known to be sensationalists, right?
They're tabloid newspaper.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this was a lot of the research was. I mean, a lot of the testimonies were from the guys that were in.
Was that Men in Black where like the tabloids actually told the truth?
Yeah.
About aliens.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's happening here.
All right, Jordan. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you for coming along with me.
That was a good one.
The good. Rendlesham Forest, we have nothing for you at all. We made it worse because I have no clue. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, if you are listening, you want to watch, go to youtube.com. /@Mysterious Pals. If you want to listen to us, if you're watching us, go to any podcast platform. We're on there. And if you want to follow us on social media, we're at Mysterious Pals on everything except for Twitter. We're at _mysterious_pals. If you want to send us an email, mysteriousPalsOnline@gmail.com, or go ahead to our website at mysteriousPals.com. That's mysteriouspals.com. That is mysteriospals.com. All the links are there. Everything's there. Our show notes are down below if you want to see what we use for resources. And go check out that recording from the Halt tape. I will try to, I may have interspersed some of them into this, but we'll see. That's a lot of work. And to like actually get it to make it sound cool.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Chris.
Everybody out there, we love you, and we will see you next time. Same mysterious place, same mysterious time. Good night.
Stay mysterious.